All right, getting a little air in the tire here this morning on day 3.
Future John here. This precise moment right here is the moment at 3 o'clock in the morning, leaving a random gas station in Dublin, Virginia, where I made the critical mistake that almost cost me my entire ride around the States. I left my wallet sitting on the rear pannier of my bike right after I had filled up my tires. Secondary fun fact, the entire reason that I was stopped to fill up my tires is because I also had picked up a nail in my rear tire that I hadn't realized yet. Another issue that we'll deal with in a future episode. Back to the video.
We're gonna get up on Interstate 81 again and basically just ride it all the way to West Virginia northward. Let's hope I put enough air in the tire. Okay, well, I wanted to record this video to go on record. It's very likely that my entire rat's ride is over. Just like that. And the next 24 hours is going to be a mad, frantic dash for me to cancel credit cards and sort out how the hell I'm going to get out of Central Virginia. Hello everyone, it's story time. I guess I'll start by saying we are 6 hours behind on the day of where I wanted to be, and that was after a really positive start, cruising down the highway way ahead of schedule. Everything was looking good. I got 140 miles in, pulled off at a Buc-ee's because it was funny and it was just cool to stop at a Buc-ee's, as cheesy as it is. Alright, well, we've knocked out 140 miles already of this 200. We need to stop for gas, so we're gonna stop at a Buc-ee's, baby. Oh yeah, Buc-ee's! This place is ridiculous. Oh my lord. And I got gas using my phone, and then I went into Buc-ee's to get some food, reached in my pocket for my wallet, and it wasn't there. Now, I put my wallet always in the same spot. It has a home, it's always there. If it's not being actively used, I put it in its home, because I know I can be careless and leave stuff sitting around. So I'm very good about this, and I also always do checks. Every time I leave anywhere, I check phone, wallet, boom, boom. Make sure I got both. Somehow, I made it all the way to this gas station, 140 miles in the day, and never once checked. And so, 140 miles down the road from where I stayed, and I had a realization that I have no currency whatsoever on my body, on my person, with the exception of my Apple Wallet. Now that works great for most things, but there are some places where I have to use a physical card. And stupidly, I didn't stow one of my cards in like a different spot as an emergency card. They were all in my wallet. So no wallet, no currency. And I was pretty much like, well, there goes the whole ride, because I now have to deal with this. And whatever happens, it's not going to be like I dropped it at the gas pump. It's if I happen to find my wallet, it's going to be all the way back where I started, because at 4 a.m., right before I left to head north, I stopped at the gas station outside the hotel to put air in my tires. All right, getting a little air in the tire here.
What I realized was
you know, in finagling with my tires and also changing my clothing, I decided to take a layer off. I was moving garments around, and the pocket where I normally put my wallet, I had to temporarily lay on the ground, and so I probably set my wallet down on the air machine right after I like scanned it. And that's all I could think of was, oh, it's sitting on top of the air machine 140 miles away, or at least it was at 4 in the morning, and who knows what happened to it. So I frantically, using my phone, I went in, I locked all my cards immediately. There was no transactions on them, so that was good. I had a decision to make. Do I give up on it, or do I go back and try to get it? I mean, knowing that it's going to be a 2-hour ride and 4 hours total since I ostensibly left my wallet sitting on this air machine. And so I decided to go back for it in the hopes that I would find it. Even though I knew that the hopes of finding it were slim, I figured I would ride back to where I started. I knew the gas pumps there took Apple Pay, so that's what I was going to do. For 140 miles, I rode down the highway going way too fast, cursing and screaming for 2 hours at the stupidity of myself and how could I have possibly been so careless. And 2 hours later, I got off the exit after having now ridden almost 300 miles on the day, pulled into the gas station, looked over at the air pump, and it was not there. All right, moment of truth. We've made it back, and it is not there. Man, I was really hoping it was going to be there. And so at that point I figured, well, it's gone. There was a small hope, but that hope is gone. So I went into the station, and last ditch, I asked the attendant, did anybody return a wallet? And he said, nope, I've been here all night, all morning, nobody's come in with a wallet. So now I was truly convinced that it was gone. So just as I was about to leave, the guy said, do you want me to check the security cam footage and see, and that way you'll at least know if somebody took it? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. And so for the next hour, we scrubbed the 4 hours of security footage that pointed at the air pump and watched it. And in all 4 hours, not a single person walked over to the air pumps. So what that told me was that I did not leave it at the air pumps. I left it somewhere else. And so I thought long and hard about what could have happened to it. And I had a hypothesis. Sometimes when I park the bike, I have a tendency to set stuff on the top of my panniers because it's a nice flat table-like surface. So I thought, what if this morning, as I was changing out of my clothing and dealing with the air pressure and all this nonsense, I set my wallet on top of my pannier, thinking that I would see it when I went to leave, and then just didn't. And got on the bike, drove away, and as I accelerated away from the gas station, air caught it and flipped it off, and it just like flew into the wind. So I looked around the vicinity of the gas station. I didn't see anything. I walked down the little entranceway. I walked out onto the main road a little bit. Didn't see anything. And then I decided, well, right after you get out of the gas station, the road takes you up onto the interstate. And so I thought, well, my wallet is leather. It's got a little bit of friction. Maybe because I wasn't going fast enough, it stayed on. But then as soon as I accelerated on the on-ramp, that's when the wind would have caught it. So my idea was, I'm gonna drive down the on-ramp as though I'm getting on the interstate very slowly and just scan the ground everywhere to see if I see anything. And as I'm making my way down the on-ramp, I'm getting close to the actual highway, and I look down and I catch a glimpse of something green, like a little green square on the side of the road. And I immediately slam on the brakes and I pull over, put my flashers on, and I go running back. And sure enough, it's my debit card. My debit card is all green. And in that moment, a wave of relief washed over me because I thought to myself, no matter what happens from this point on, I have something. So then I looked at my watch and I said, well, I'm here. I drove all the way back here. I might as well take my time going up and down the on-ramp multiple times, making several passes, because if my debit card's here, all my other stuff is bound to be around here somewhere. I walked up and down the on-ramp on both sides for a full hour. I'd go down the 200 meters and then back up the 200 meters and then go down, and the whole time I'm scanning the grass and all the area like to the side of the interstate. And mind you, it's windy out, so stuff's blowing all around, and I'm just like, this stuff's gonna all be lost to the wind. But every single time I made a pass, I found something else. I found my HSA card, I found my insurance card, I found another debit card, and then I found my credit card. And from that point on, I was like, we're golden. But I still decided to keep looking. I was like, I'm gonna regret it if I don't try at least another dozen times. And so every time I would go up and down, I would still continue to find something, to the point where I had found every single thing in my wallet in a completely random and different place. Everything was scattered. The only thing I didn't find was my wallet itself. Everything had flown out of the wallet, but the wallet itself I couldn't find. And I was like, well, that really sucks, because it's a sentimental wallet to me. I got it on the Appalachian Trail 20 years ago. If that's the only thing that I can't find, so be it. And so I decide I'm gonna bail. I'm gonna take the loss of the wallet and I'm gonna go. And as I'm getting ready, I say, you know what? No, I'm gonna make one more pass. And so I walked down the on-ramp, didn't find anything, walked back towards my motorcycle, didn't find anything, was just about to cross over the on-ramp to get back to my bike when I caught the faintest glimpse of a little black silhouette out of the side of my eye. And I looked over, trotted up to it, and sure enough, it was my wallet. I mean, I couldn't have scripted this any better. It was like a Hollywood movie. It was literally the last pass I made, the last glimpse I made before leaving forever, and I found my wallet. And when I went back to my bike and I put everything back in my wallet, I realized every single thing that I lost, I had found. Even the $80 in cash, I found the 4 $20 bills, each in a different location. Everything. And out of the whole assessment of the situation, the only damage, the only thing that is actually broken was I have one of those like metal Apple cards, and it like bent in half. But otherwise, everything was found, everything was intact. I cannot believe it. And so I celebrated right there on the on-ramp, got back on the bike and rode the 140 miles back to the Buc-ee's, where I finally started the day at 12:30 p.m. So needless to say, we're not gonna probably hit our planned stop for this evening. I mean, if we did, it would be monumentally late, like 2 in the morning, and that's being optimistic. I popped in to this place called JT Cycle, and they had the Motor X oil. So I picked up some 10W50 and we're all set. Just need to do the oil change now. So awesome. And it was basically right on the way, although I don't know what the hell Google's routing me now. This is kind of bonkers. We're going through the woods here. All right, well, Washington and Baltimore, this is what I've been dealing with for the past 2 hours. Just non-stop congestion. It has been a nightmare. Well, we just got our receipt here for Delaware at a service station on the toll road. And all I can think about is that scene from Wayne's World where they're like, all right, we're in Delaware.
Delaware? Hi, I'm in Delaware.
I'm in Delaware for all of like 15 miles and then into New Jersey, which is going to be interesting because New Jersey is the only state where you can't pump your own gas. It's also going to be interesting to see what happens when it gets to be so late that the stores aren't open if I can't get a receipt. All right, going over the bridge to New Jersey. It's kind of scary, and it said there was a wind advisory, so now I'm really nervous. Oh, there's a little gust. Yeah, okay, there's definitely some wind up here. Ooh, that was the New Jersey state line right there, painted on the road. Cool. I always like it when there's a quirky state line like that. Here we go. New Jersey Turnpike. Got my Easy Pass chugging away. Cranking up those transactions on the old Easy Pass this evening. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Multiple states are getting money from me. There's a view of New York. Look at all those skyscrapers. You've got Lower Manhattan and Upper Manhattan. It's amazing. Oh, you can see like Freedom Tower and the Chrysler Building and all that stuff. Empire State Building. Ooh, well, it is officially a new day. It's after midnight and I'm still pushing 120 miles to the hotel. When the day is done, if we make this in one piece, we'll have done an iron butt ride today, unintentionally. I did the math. I was supposed to do 725 miles today, and I added 280. So that's 1,005. I'll have to look at my odometer, but yeah, I'll have done an iron butt ride today, and an iron butt ride that went through both DC and New York City. How's that for a statistic? Yeesh. Well, I'm definitely getting loopy. I already made a big mistake going over the George Washington Bridge. I was in the right lane to go under the bridge, like to go on the second story or whatever, the sub level. And at the last minute, I saw the word express, and we swerved over into another lane, hitting a massive pothole in the process. So I hope I didn't screw up the bike. And come to find out, the express lane was for trucks, and it was under construction. So I got stuck on the George Washington Bridge for like 45 minutes. It was miserable. Now at 12:10 in the morning on the next day, what is supposed to be my Rats Day 4, I am on I-95 in rural Connecticut now, and it's a ghost town. So perfect. I just got a receipt at a service station. So Connecticut is done. I'm gonna try and get gas in Rhode Island tonight and get a receipt, but if I fail, my hotel is like a mile across the border in Massachusetts. So I'll just go back in the morning and get a receipt then if I can't get a quick one tonight.
Well, I've got to tell you, I'm sitting here editing this footage over 2 weeks later, and I am still baffled by the fact that we managed to recover this wallet and all of its contents successfully, just strewn across the on-ramp of Interstate 81 in Dublin, Virginia. I still can't believe it, but I am glad that I decided to go back for it, because I am absolutely convinced that had I just given up and decided to just get new cards and figure a new solution out, I would not have completed the 48 state challenge in the 10 days. It would have taken me a lot longer. So I'm glad it all worked out. I did still make it to my planned stop for that night, a town called Seekonk, right on the Massachusetts-Rhode Island border. But it meant I had to ride over 1,000 miles. I had to ride through DC, Baltimore, Philadelphia area, all of New Jersey, New York City, the urban southern portion of Connecticut, and Providence all in that time. So I was really fried by the end of that night. And I didn't get to the hotel until something like 2:30 in the morning, which then, of course, also meant that I was going to need to sleep in the next day if I wanted any chance of getting reasonable sleep. But I still also had to do an oil change. So things were really starting to back up for me. And thankfully, my fourth day, I had planned to be a shorter day anyway. So I just said, I'm going to sleep in and we'll leave when we leave, even if it means we don't leave until noon. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm really having a lot of fun going back, rewatching this footage. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
And that's it for Maine. I don't know what I'm feeling right now as we leave Kittery and head back into New Hampshire. I guess there's a part of me that's relieved, but there's also a part of me that's kind of sad.